Grand opening, grand closing.
Welcome back to the channel. Your only friend in these YouTube streets, PlayStation 77. I'm starting to see history repeat itself. I didn't think this tactic would be used again, but it is. And what tactic am I talking about? It's once again the tactic of trying to paint a picture of doom and gloom for the PlayStation brand to compensate their failings of Fanboys' favorite plastic. So what I'm talking about, you're probably, if you're in the news or on Twitter and you pay attention to the gaming industry beyond just the games or just beyond video footage and stuff like that, you pay attention to how's company doing, what's the latest status on projects, things like that, you'll start seeing the momentum of this doom and gloom for PlayStation, right? They're using a combination of situations and trying to paint it as this is a sign of something's bad about to happen. The removal of Connie Booth, I think her name is, the recent layoffs in Bungie, Sony's idea about gas, Jim Ryan retiring, all these things are being combined into trying to paint a picture that Sony's in a bad place. And while that is being said, at the same time, oh, look, Xbox in a great place. And apparently that is supposed to do something, maybe convince people to be like, you know what? You're right. I'm not going to buy a PlayStation. I'm going to buy an Xbox or something. This was the same tactic that was used years ago, but it's funny that it's coming back. What I find interesting is now people are trying to re-engage, right? After at the start of the generation, people in the gaming community or the Xbox community was hiding in their holes, locked into their echo chambers and being silent. Now they want to come out and play. Take, for example, Post Up. Now all of a sudden, he's tagging me and stuff, right? So he has this tweet. My brothers J-Dub and PlayStation ain't said a word and refused to have this discussion. Interesting statement when you say that. To have this discussion. What discussion am I supposed to have really this gen with any Xbox gamer? Now, of course, if you've been to my podcast or if you've seen my podcast, 60 Frames No Lag, all are welcome. Some of you seen the Black Baron, and he's one of the biggest PlayStation bashers out there. Obviously he's eccentric, but he's not like the Xbox guys. They just get weird over stuff. But a lot of people don't like the Baron, but he is free to go on the show. I don't suppress people's opinion on that. I welcome the argument, the discussion and stuff like that. But Xbox guys, this gen, let me give you this as an example. He wants to have a discussion, but look what he said on Spider-Man's success. Post Up. I honestly expected more from Spider-Man day one sales, given the pedestal the PlayStation community put it on and how they are only the community that buys games. Given how huge the IP is and the massive appeal it has on casuals, pre-order's been up for a minute. I know it have legs and go on to do amazing numbers overall. Salute to them, though we felt the same way when Halo 2 did it years ago. No bundles included. He expected more from Spider-Man sales. The problem is that when it comes to Spider-Man sales, day one sales, it literally broke a record. Spider-Man 2 sold 2.5 million copies in 24 hours, making it the fastest selling first party PlayStation game in history. Imagine the audacity. You're on the Olympic track. You're on a 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash. Let's say 200-meter dash. And you sprint. And you broke the world record. You set the whole record. You are the fastest Olympian in the world. The fastest runner in the world. And someone approaches you. I thought you were going to run faster. The audacity of that comment. And we're expected to have serious conversations when this Xbox community has relegated to this silliness. The funny part is, that very tweet from Dom's Playing that he tweeted out, right, that he quote tweeted, literally gave the answer. See, Bungie's acquisition are cited as the reason, though, there are references to its impact on the expense in late 2021. So yeah, studio investment is certainly a factor among others, right? Sony spent $6 billion or $3 billion, whatever, on the acquisition. So that money's got to come from somewhere. You're borrowing money. You're pulling money, right? It's going to take a while to recoup that money. What's funny is Post-Up setting himself up for the okie doke because Microsoft just spent $70 billion on Activision, ABK. What do you think is going to happen? Things are going to dip, and it's going to take a while to get that money back. But hey, I'll just leave it be. But the funny part about this whole thing is they're taking these instances and they're trying to formulate a viewpoint that Sony's in trouble. Now, keep in mind, I'm using the word formulate. They're trying to take things and trying to say the way things look, man, this is bad. The funny part is they are ignoring things that you don't have to formulate. Like straight raw information. That's like, this is bad. Take, for example, let's say if we had a bet, right? $100 bet, whatever. Let's say the World Series, even in baseball, whatever, right? I bet it on a team, you bet on the other team, and I tell you, hey, this team's going to win. I bet you $100. And you say, no, this team's going to win. It's on. And you win the bet. Now, the bet was $100. But instead of me giving you $100, I'd be like, nah, I'm going to give you 50. I'm pretty sure you're going to have a problem with that. Because the bet is $100. You expected for me to give you $100. But you only got 50. That is a problem. Now, notice, this is not an opinion or something you kind of have to figure out. It is raw information, raw data. You expected 100. I'm only giving you 50. That is a problem. Simple enough, right? So why can't these Xbox guys see the same thing when it's actually happening to Microsoft? You see, Microsoft drops Game Pass growth target for CEO compensation. Satya Nadella's performance-based pay targets were tied to overall Xbox growth in 2023, but the games division fell short. You see, Satya's pay compensation was less. He lost salary, him and other execs, because Xbox failed to meet expectations. This isn't a situation of layoffs or this particular person left or maybe this financial impact. No, it's straight up. You had targets. We bet $100, but you only get 50. That's a problem. And the specific targets is right here. It's like literally in front of their face. It says right there, Xbox target accounted for 10% of his performance-based targets, with the largest category being to grow. Microsoft's cloud revenue, which was weighted at 30%. Xbox revenue did not meet the 4.4% growth target. Instead only growing by 0.7. Not even 1%. So technically, if in the bet scenario, I didn't even give you $50. I'm giving you like $5. Like, bro, not even $100, not even 1%. I'm not even giving you $1. You're getting 70 cents mathematically. The bet's $100. I'm trying to give you 70 cents. That's how off and stuff like that. Like when you think about it, like this is ridiculous, right? This is not something you need an opinion about or try to guess. It's just straight up. This is the expectation. You didn't meet the expectation. But what's funny is it wasn't just revenue. If you look at the bottom here, Axios analysis shows that Nadia previously had targets based on the subscriber growth of Xbox Game Pass. Now that's the creme de la creme for Xbox, because they're basing the whole kit and caboodle on Game Pass. That's it. That's the end all be all. It's all about Game Pass. It's not about the console sales no more. It's not about that. It's about subscriber. It's not even about game sales. Game sales, nah, that's not a metric. Console sales, not a metric. It's all about subscriber growth. So we cannot damage control this. This is literally the defining metric for the growth of Xbox. Game Pass subscribers. And even with that, the aim was for 73% growth in Game Pass subscribers, but the actual result was 28. But is PlayStation that's in trouble? You're trying to take certain scenarios that don't necessarily mean that in the long run, PlayStation is going to have a bad issue. Nothing. You can only assume, maybe or maybe not. But those numbers are facts. Those are factual data that the brand failed for that year. And the execs had to pay the price. Someone had to be held accountable, and Satya was held accountable, and all the C-suite level executives, they were all held accountable. They lost money in pay. Now, listen, I know how the internet works. I know how this new generation starts twisting things. No, I don't care if these execs lose money. So don't make it about that. Oh, Puerto Ric's worrying about people's name. Because you know how it is now. You see how a lot of kids do things. They create arguments out of thin air. The whole point is, how is Xbox enthusiasts, content creators, analysts, journalists, whatever you want to call them, miss the obvious information about Xbox, but when it comes to PlayStation, they have to like take puzzles that don't fit and then like put it together and tape it just so it could stick. Weird. But it continues. My boy Tim Dog, the elder bot, been doing this for a long time. Look at him. This was glaring 8 months ago. Hit a lot of times. It takes time and reality to hit. Nobody questioned Sony for a long time, and it shows. For them to get in this position is because lack of questioning and concern. 6 months ago, I was told Jim doesn't need to talk. He lets the games do the talking. The studios they purchase are questionable. Haven, Fire Sprite, Firewalk, Savage have a lot to prove and in a tough spot to do it in gas. Bungie was reactionary, overpaid move that isn't looking so hot right now. Putting first party GG and ND on gas projects. That's Guerrilla Games and Naughty Dog. Now probably both abandoned was a completely waste of time. Glad people like Tassie are starting to speak up, but the whirlwind is just starting. Expecting tough stretch for Sony here. I've been saying this for a long time. Well, we are here. So notice he's just threw in a whole bunch of imaginary shit. None of them facts. So he's already saying Guerrilla Games canceled. Naughty Dog's games canceled. Everybody's far behind. Everything's a disaster. See what I'm talking about? They're taking all this stuff and they're trying to make it fact, but the actual facts they ignore. But here's the thing. We've been down this road before, Tim. Have you not learned your lesson, Tim? Let me remind you. This is you in 2014. Because you know you're losing. Also infamous, laugh out loud. Man, PS4 in trouble. UK outsold PS4 4 weeks in a row. People figure it out. 2014, 9 years ago. Oh, but it doesn't stop because you kept the heat coming. You kept the heat coming. Worry about Sony delaying its financials. Sony is in big trouble, not Microsoft. PS4 might suffer as well. This is 2015. Now, I think we all know how last gen ended up between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think now, even the most delusional Xbox fanboys, the biggest concubines that ever graced this planet, I think we all get the point that Xbox One got its ass kicked and PlayStation 4 just literally demolished the gen. Okay? If it wasn't for the release of the Switch in 2017, Jesus Christ, because the Wii U flopped miserably, right? It took Nintendo to release another high-profile handheld for Sony not to just completely own that entire gen all by itself. It was a complete colossal. I mean, all this talk about PlayStation trouble, whatever. Yet in the end, Uncharted 4, right? Horizon, Zero Dawn, The Last of Us. You're just immense amount of games, right? Bloodborne, Ghost of Tsushima. Like, bro, we could just talk about all the games for days while Xbox was pushing Crackdown 3 and Bleeding Edge. We all know how that goes, right? But he still didn't stop there. My man Tim still kept going. 2021. Now he's cool. He just sends a Sony in bad trouble. This is 2021. The funny part is, a few months later, 2022, Xbox to this day still probably had one of the worst years in gaming ever for any brand. 2022 was an abysmal abomination. And these Xbox guys are trying to make Sony's 2023 look like Xbox 2022. I'm sorry, but you can't even compare Xbox 2023 with PlayStation's 2023. Sure, you might argue quantity. You might just list games. But in terms of impact, I think the combo of Final Fantasy 16 plus Spider-Man blows anything Xbox out the water, and you can see it in the sales. Everybody's buying PlayStations. It's not even an argument. It's not even a contention. And no, the whole argument of you don't need an Xbox because the phone's whatever. No one gives a shit. No one cares about that. The PC gamers who play on PC because of PC, not because of Xbox first party. They don't care about that. They don't be like, ooh, Xbox party is on PC. Yeah, I'm gonna get a PC. Now maybe the guys who were Xbox console gamers and now realize that this console is not worth its weight in salt, so they rather just get PC because you just end up getting more. So it's not really so much about the first party. It's all about they get so much more without losing the first party or without losing access to Game Pass. That's really what it's about. Because just sticking to Xbox, you lose so much because the company's not focusing on it. But instead of seeing all that, they're trying to formulate this thing on PlayStation. It's getting so bad that already they're starting a narrative against Wolverine. We're still in Spider-Man, and we're probably still going to get some DLC, hopefully, right? If it's anything like the first Spider-Man, get some DLC next year or whatever. So Wolverine probably won't be until a 2025 game, right? But no, let's start the narrative. Let's start going out there and start preaching that. Let me read this. Insomniac is going to have to do something pretty special to top X-Men Origins Wolverine. Because if this winds up being Spider-Man but Wolverine, then that ain't it. This needs to be Insomniac's take on God of War, but with less bloat and walk and talk, way more action. To top Wolverine's X Origin. Really? So now, a game that came out May 2009, before Arkham Asylum, which set the standard of what a AAA properly made comic book game really is, what it should be. Because Arkham Asylum set that standard. Rocksteady, we still got to thank them for being the ones to truly show that comic book games can be up to the AAA standards. It can be Game of the Year contenders. X-Men Wolverine's Origin came out before that. So it was still a cash grab. I mean, it's literally based off the movie as a cash grab. Right? So when I saw that tweet, I'm like, wait a minute. I know you ain't starting this. So I quote tweeted saying, interesting. I quote tweeted saying, top X-Men Origins Wolverine. Game sold less than 200K in its debut launch. And it's a 75 at Meta. It's not going to take much to outclass a clear cash grab of a game. And as you can see here, this was during a time when MPD actually used to say what the game exactly sold, how many copies exactly sold on the console and which console sold it on. If you could notice here, and I'll zoom in, X-Men Origins on the Xbox 360 only sold in its debut month 120,000 copies. That's it. The PS3 version was so low, they didn't even bother putting anything under 100,000. They don't even bother putting in the sales. It's not even worth it. The 75 Meta, maybe 200,000 sales, if that, at launch. Probably didn't even get to sell half a million, maybe 500,000, maybe. This is what we're gonna compare Insomniac's Wolverine game. This is the barometer, really, to show you how much concubine Xbox fanboy energy there is. This is what's this right here is the epitome, right? Because somebody thought it was a good idea to go at me when I made that comment. Now look at this. Black Cobra. He says, are you R? There is no way he called Wolverine Origins the game a cash grab. Uh-oh. We got a badass here. We got a dude who's ready to be like, yo, you ain't calling my game a cash grab. You know what I'm saying? You ain't calling the game that he loves, that he enjoys, a cash grab. He about to fight. Oh, wait. There's one problem. He never played the game. That's right. He says right here. In fact, what's funny, Astro Cyborg, tell you Astro Cyborg, keep coming at me. I'm gonna make you look stupid. Astro Cyborg says you can tell he didn't play it. It was one of the best superhero games on 360 PS3, which says a lot because it was a great time for superhero games. But funny part is, Astro Cyborg, I did play the game. But the guy you trying to co-sign, he literally admits he didn't. Yeah, that movie was straight up garbage, but the game was fucking fire. I didn't get a chance to play it. Look at this. Are you seeing this? Look at this. I didn't get a chance to play it, which sucks. But I saw gameplay and cutscenes. Like, holy shit, that looks so much fun. He didn't get to play it, but he saw gameplay and cutscenes. He saw gameplay and cutscenes. He admits to watch games and not actually play them to I need a minute here. The dude, but he said it proudly. Like, at least the frauds hide that fact. They don't openly admit that they didn't play a game. They lie about it. Like, we would have to say, oh, show me your gamer tag. Prove to me you played, whatever. And then they make up some stuff and then they disappear. This dude just came out and be like, yo, I didn't play the game. I didn't get a chance. The game came out 14 years ago. You're telling me over a 14-year period, at any point, the game is probably like $2. You could get the game for $2. At any point in this 14-year period of gaming, you never bothered to play a game that you saw cutscenes and be like, man, that shit looks fire. I'm going to pay $2 and get that game and play it. Apparently it's not that fire. You're not willing to spend $2. It's like $3, bargain bin. You find it in the bins at Walmart. You know, that little bin with all the movies and stuff like that? That's where you can get that game. Grab it, $2, put it in your console, play it. Apparently it's not that fire. And then have the nerve to argue with me, the guy who actually did play it. I did play it. Right? And I played it and I'm like, this is not that good, right? Game came out in May 2009. I remember it perfectly. I was just, during the time and all the games before it, everything was a cash grab. But we just didn't know because we really didn't have somebody to set the bar. We needed someone to set the bar. Until someone sets the bar and show us the right way, we're not going to know. And Arkham Asylum was that game. Rocksteady were that developers. Because if I remember correctly, Arkham Asylum came out in August of 2009, a few months after. And I'm also a Batman fan. So when I played that, that's it. I was done with cash grabs. The bar is set. Expectations were set. Arkham Asylum was the end all be all. You know? Gonna try to use X-Men Origin against... Oh, man. That's just... People are just creating fake arguments, fake standards, because Wolverine will be exclusive to the PlayStation 5 when it comes out. And it's going to be a banger, given that Insomniac has been on point this gen with their products. Absolutely. But the whole thing is PlayStation in trouble, right? Okay, so PlayStation in trouble. Let's put their money where their mouth is. I'm just going to ask two simple questions. If PlayStation's in trouble, then it should be reflective when it comes time to the games. When you come times to powering up the console. Right? That's when you know you're in trouble. When you power up your console, you be like, man, ain't no damn games. Like, where are the games? Sure, you got multiplats. You know, you got Feet Madden and, you know, all this other stuff. But where are the exclusives? Like, what the company's doing to bring top quality exclusives, top quality content on the console? Well, I'm just going to ask Xbox dudes that feel the doom and gloom 2 simple questions, right? The first question is as a game question, specifically for a game. You see, in February, I'm going to be playing possibly one of 2024's best games, period. One of the top games. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is coming out in 2024. February. So my question to you guys is, on your Xbox, what's the big banger you're going to play either January, February, or March? The first quarter of 2024. You know what I'm playing. For the console that's in trouble. What are you playing? What game are you ready to get that's like one of the best games to kick off 2024? That's the first question. Right? The second question, right? With this fever of power and all this stuff that you guys were all about. You guys were all about it. It completely failed. Completely failed. But I'm pretty sure the feeling's still there because I saw it. Recently, Alan Wake 2 came out. Xbox Series S is performing better. Congratulations. Right? So and you guys bragged about it. So I know you guys are in there. So this is my second question. In 2024, when the PS5 Pro comes out, what are you guys going to do? What answer you got? And don't say you don't have an answer, because you are going to be seething and coping at the thought that if Microsoft doesn't come out with a competitor to the PS5 Pro, oh my God, you guys are just gonna, it's gonna be a bloodbath launch of this console, right? If this console and Sony does it right and has a significant superpowers over the PS5, a significant boost, it's gonna be a bloodbath, right? Imagine every game, every single one performing better, right? Just completely out the box. You guys are going to be so salty. So Sony's in trouble. PlayStation's in trouble. Answer me those 2 questions. Shouldn't be hard. What you got? What you bringing to the table? What's going to happen in 2024? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, stick around. Hope you do. Your only friend is YouTube Sweet Porter Rock 77. See you guys Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 60 frames, no lag. Podcast. Enjoy this weekend. You guys take care. Peace.